It was back in grade 3, I think it actually started, when my mom's friend told her that if you write to Robert Munsch, he'll write back.
In grade 3, we just wrote him, we said our favorite book is, and then we did a little thing and we sent it to him and he wrote us back, so that just got the fire going.
So good morning, boys and girls. How are you this morning? We're going to do some storytelling today from your favorite person. Who is it? Robert Munsch. And I sort of look like him, but I'm not really him. Oh, I know.
Finally, in grade 7, my mom sent him another book about how Robert Munsch could get to Cobalt, where our school was.
I was damned and determined to get him to our school.
He finally decided to give our school a shot after we bothered him for a total of 3 years.
I couldn't believe that I finally was going to get him here for the kids of St. Pat's.
She was just so excited that her dream was actually coming true of meeting him that she just didn't know how to express herself. It was just coming out in pure, aggressive happiness.
It was the most exciting day of my life because it was my Munch moment. It was, I remember saying it was, you climb the mountain, you know, it was that. You couldn't believe that you have achieved your goal.
I ended up winning a contest to have Robert Munsch stay at my house whenever he does visits in schools, partly to save on money and to get inspiration for stories. He stays with families. And there was a contest that you could get him to stay with your family, and I happened to win it.
We saw his plane coming down, and my mom got really excited, and it kind of snuck past security almost to meet him, and then kind of ran at him with her arms open, yelling in the middle of the airport, kind of.
I just initially thought I have to hug him. So I just hugged him, and then Andrew just slumped down, and he saw that because he's so into reading people.
I was just this little kid with my hand on my face, trying to hide from embarrassment.
On the car ride home, they teased Andrew because of how embarrassed he was.
Right when we left the airport, he started asking me questions about, does your mom do this often? Does she embarrass you? And I was a very shy, timid child, so everything embarrassed me, especially my mother. And he seemed to take note of that. So he just asked me what kind of scenarios she gets us into that embarrasses me most. And then by the time we sat down in Tim Hortons, he had a whole story made up. And I still remember him sitting down in the little 4-person seat with my friends and I, and him just doing full animations.
And then they came to the entrance to the mall. And the mother said, "You forgot to comb your hair. Your hair is not combed at all." Ah, messy hair. And the mother put some spit on her hand and put it on the kid's head. And the kid went, "Mommy spit at the mall."
And then he started telling the story every day, all our visits through Cobalt. And here he would just tell it over again, and he would change parts, and that's how it came to be. It was quick.
Andrew and I got school off for, 3 days just to accompany him wherever he went.
Every kid was so amazed that Robert Munsch was there that they wanted his attention. So during our walks, kids would find small rocks as little tokens they think would be special and give to Robert Munsch. By the end of the trip, he had a backpack just full of rocks.
I literally painted like a bulldog on a round rock and sent it off to him because I thought it was the coolest thing and I thought he should have it. And a couple of years later, he sent a picture and an email of the bulldog on his desk and said that it just wouldn't leave, and lots of kids give him things over the many years he's been touring, and my rock ended up staying on his workspace.
Hi, this is Bob Munsch.
So when we got a message on our machine at home that was from him in his voice asking if he could put me in a book, that was just the craziest concept to us. It was very cool.
What's funny is I call up people 10 years after I wrote the story and say, "Hi, Bob Munsch, I remember I made a story about you when you were 4. I want to make it into a book." The person goes, "Ah!"
I didn't realize that it would actually turn into a book. I just thought he did that for most kids to be nice, maybe. Just include them in a book, make them feel special, which it really did.
They gave me the story. At the end of that trip, I said, "I have a story."
He had been going from school to school to school in different libraries and just on a 3-day whirlwind of performing everywhere. And we would end up sitting sometimes with the teachers, sometimes backstage, sometimes getting some glimpse behind the scenes. You almost get a better view of the audience. They're just loud and loving it, and it is such a party for them.
When he's reading his books, as most people know, he's very animated to the extreme. It really draws the children in. It really gets the point of his books across. He's just really passionate about what he does, and you can see it and feel it.
Do you guys know this story? It's called I'm So Embarrassed. Have you read that one? No?
When he tells his stories to kids, he doesn't hold up his book. He doesn't actually hold up a copy of his book and use it as illustrations. He is the show. Him and all of his animated presence is the show. It's almost like if you were to hold a book, it wouldn't be as entertaining because you only want to look at him.
I used to worry about that. I thought, here I am, an author, and I don't read my own books. But then I found out that this crazy storytellings that I do, people go out and buy the books.
And they kick their arms up and they scream, "Lie on your backs, everybody! Lie on your backs! Get your legs and hands and feet up in the air! Ah!" Okay, I will take you home.
That's where my stories grew. And mainly I miss it because I was young then. And I wish I could still do that.
We have to just, I don't know, be thankful he's around and, you know.
Due to my health, I've been gradually scaling back. When my doctor said, "Don't do that."
People forget that he's not this invincible guy, and the requests for visits keep coming in, but it's becoming increasingly taxing for him to do the work that he loves to do and that he's known for.
Since I'm no longer telling stories to kids, when I want to change around a story, I have to just use the audience that's in my head. But also, the stories are mostly done, so I don't have to do a lot of work. I got tired being the life of the party. As in, like, here's Bob Munsch. And I like not being the life of the party now.
Being embarrassed throughout my entire childhood, it has really made me ready for these moments that I'm no longer embarrassed as much.
Seeing I'm So Embarrassed go from idea to story to book was such a pivotal experience for me. And it made me realize it's possible to use your imagination to change other people's lives.
Now people meet me on the street, it's like, you used my name in Mud Puddle when I was in 2nd grade, and this is my son George, and say hi to George. So it seems that my books are more part of Canadian society than I thought.